our plan book. So 224 is going to go to Thursday. So if you want your plan book to reflect what is true, because yesterday was a binder day, and it's the quarter one grading cutoff, but today will be 224. But like we said, Friday we will turn in 223 and 224. So guys, here's the deal when homework... I don't know what the heck is going on with these lights. Alright, so if your plan book's updated, you're good on your plan book. Go ahead and pull out I wanted to double check with you guys. If you didn't tape your Post-its in your binder, you should do that at some point today. I got clear tape over here, there's clear tape over there, there's clear tape up front. So if you did not tape your Post-its, they're gonna fall off eventually. We should do that at some point. What's that? Yeah, you should bring it to class, otherwise you're gonna miss stuff. So today, we are in 224. So if you want to head your notes, and if you want to pull out that worksheet, I bet there's classwork on that worksheet. I'm trying to double check for you. Yep, these are examples from class. We got number 77 on our worksheet. Did we chat about 77 at all yesterday? I can't remember what I do in which class. Katie, go ahead and get out the worksheet. So you're zoning out. I figured I'd bring you back to earth. So you guys are actually going to work as your teams for the first at least probably like 5 minutes. If your team doesn't have a book, you can come up front and borrow a book from the bottom shelf up there. You are going to read through and work on these problems on graph paper. Because every day you should have graph paper out. That's just assumed. If you don't have graph paper out, get graph paper out. Every day we need graph paper. If you have about 10 sheets in your binder, that should last you a couple weeks. So Cecil has gotten so good at the tightrope that he can now make moves of 7-foot jumps at a time. Right, so he can move up to 7 feet at a time. And actually, I think in one of these problems, he figures out how to move 8 feet at a time. So Cecil's up on his tightrope, and he says, I'm going to make this my routine today. I'm going to do 7 plus 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 negative 5 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 plus negative 5. And his show manager is like, bro, I think you drank too much coffee this morning. There's a much easier way to say what you just said. I want you to talk with your team, and this doesn't have a problem number, so if you just want to head your notes that we're just in lesson 224 now, how could we much more easily represent this crazy routine he just described to us? Hint. It's the name of the lesson. I should see graph paper that says 224. Really label 224 so you know what notes. Writing notes doesn't really benefit you. You need to know what day it was. Did you put two? Oh, never mind. Yeah, guys, my Math 2 class does a really good job of it. If your team's working on something and you want to come to the board, go to the board. Like, some people were asking me how many 7s are there. Go count. Or get your book out. This is in your book. This problem is in your book. If you would like to count things and not have to come to the board. All right, we got random cards going, so make sure that you're talking to your team. If you don't know what's going on here, chat with the people around you. You can get your book out and look at it, or borrow a book. Anyone got our page number? What's our page number? 98. All right, Franco, what did your group decide to do here? How many 7s were there? It was 56. Farah, did your group do it the same where we just did all the addition, or did you guys do anything different? Oh, you did how many 7s there are, and then how many 5s were there? I think there's 8 5s. They're negative 5s. So guys, as the name of our lesson, excuse me, so if you want to write this down, well, I don't know why you just jumped. Multiplication as repeated addition. So there are certain situations where saying a number over and over and over and over and over again doesn't make sense. It's a little silly. And this is one of them. So 8 times 7, people told me, turns into 56. What's 8 times negative 5? Negative 40. And then we can think about 0 pairs, right? In a way, we think about 0 pairs because 40 of these are going to 0 pair. What do we end up with? 16. All right, I want you and your team to work on 67. The setup is right here. I shouldn't really need to read it for you or anything because you should have a book out. If you guys need me to deliver a book to you, I can. We're on page 98. We're on page 98 in the book. So we're moving on to question 67. Check it out together. Yeah, you're fine. 67. One person can read it for your team if you want. Yeah, you're on problem 67, page 98. Right. Right over here. I'll get it for you today, but any day, borrow a ruler from me. Much better. Make sure we're not spending too much time drawing pictures. We want to do the math. Can Cecil jump forwards or backwards? Yeah, he can jump both ways. He needs to jump backwards, right? He's got to jump backwards. Your group can still be talking. So I'm just writing down positive and negative because that's what Antonella just told me. Forwards and backwards. Let's go. We'll go forwards too far. A little twirl. I like a little twirl. Anyone willing to share one option you come up with? Ooh, Mia?
6 minus 5.
Ooh, wait. We can't go 6 though. So do you just want me to do -5 to start?
Yeah.
Sure. So a -5 to start. So that puts me 5 behind. Like I'm at -5 now. Plus 8. Where am I at now? +3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to write it as plus -5 because we're moving backwards, right? So you could write it as minus, but I like saying and a backwards move. So now where am I at? If I was at 3, -2, do what now? You got it. 1. Yeah, plus 8 gets us there. Because how far forward did we move? Like together, 16. How far backwards did we move? 10. If I make 10 zeros, then what am I left with? 6, which is exactly where we want to be. So a backwards 5, forwards 8, backwards 5, forwards 8 takes us where we want to go. But wait, could I write this differently?
Yes.
Could I use multiplication here? John?
You can do 2 times 8 plus 2 times -5.
So you said we do 2 of these moves and 2 of these moves. When we get to 6, so we do 2 +8 moves. We do 2 -5 moves. Now here this maybe isn't a whole lot easier because we write just about the same amount of stuff. What if I only let you use an 8 once? If I only let you use an 8 once. Anyone got an idea for that? You could use it positive or negative. I only let you use 8 once. Try it with your team. Talk with each other. So we can use any number we want with multiplication. That's a great question. So you guys check out right up here. This move of -5 and move of -5, this is our move. This is just how many. Right? So this is telling us the quantity. It's not a move of 2. It's 2 moves of. Right? So the size that we're moving is still +8 and -5. Because here we didn't move -8 at all. We didn't move +5 at all. Which we didn't have to. Guys, what if I do 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5? Where am I at then? 20. What if I add 5 more? What if I add 5 more? 30. I'm now at 30. Can you get me back to where I need to be? I'm at 30. I'm at 30. Can you get me back to where I need to be? I need to be at 6. Cannot divide. We can only move positive or negative, 5 or 8. If I'm at 30. Ooh, Aiden's got an idea. So this is 6 moves of size 5. And you guys told me that puts me at 30. I can't move 12 though.
Go back 12.
I can't go back 12. I can only move 5 and 8.
Move back 3 moves of 8.
If I'm at 30 and I go back 8, where am I now? 22. If I go back 8 again, 14. And if I move back 8 again, I'm at 6. So instead of writing out all of these numbers, I could say, okay, Cecil, do 6 moves of 5 and 3 moves of -8. And that also gets me to 6. Guys, one of my favorite things about this lesson, we could make an infinite amount of these. You could play with numbers all day long and make an infinite amount of options. There are multiple right ways to get to the right answer. So when you do math with other people, you don't always have to agree. There are multiple ways to get there. Have we talked about getting to Florida in this class?
Yes.
If we all want to go to Disney, right? I don't care how you get there. Just meet me in Disney. I want to go ride the teacups, right? Let's go to Disney. All right, another problem. Cecil is now able to move 6 feet at a time. He moves 6 and 6 and 6 and 6. And his manager says, bro, you could explain this easier. You don't need to say 6 and 6 and 6 and 6. And it sounds a little evil saying so many 6s. How can he explain this in a better way? Hint, it's multiplication. Vincent, what do you think?
If we do 4 moves of 6.
4 moves of 6. Please on your paper, I know it's a little silly, but write out 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. This is quicker to write. The reason we multiply, it's quicker. So yeah, I'm going to make a real bold statement here. Say this is better. If you work at a bank and you're giving somebody money, you literally have to say 20 and another 20 and another and another and another and another, and they count out every bill and every time. It feels so silly. Try to be quick because we got a lot to cover today. So try that make it better skill here. Again, you've got these in your books. If you want to see them right in front of you, try this, make it better here. We're doing all jumps of 7. Chat with your team about what you wrote down. Now you should be able to count how many 7s there are. I gave them each their own color. Carmen, how many 7s were up here? So what are we going to write? Yeah, this is way easier to write than 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. And way easier to say, especially while we're all wearing masks. Right? 5 times 7. I feel like Carmen thought I was silly asking her, what do we write? What about, actually I might skip this one. I mean, oh, fine, I heard a no. Okay, fix this, make it better. You got 10 seconds, fix it. So the first number we're going to write is how many times what number? Right, quantity times how many? Layla Graff, what do you got for me? 5 times 2, because we got 5 2s. Guys, we're turning in homework tomorrow, and also you should probably expect a mini mastery of like 3, maybe 4 questions. Talk to your team about what happened here. What was his routine? What did Cecil do? And this, I'll write it bigger. Sorry, I realize I get back here, it's a little hard to see because I see people kind of squinting. What was his routine here? I have one hanging from my rear view mirror though, because it's actually really, this is like a survival thing. You keep them with you, you can cut it and use the paracord. You can't make it during school. Do kids still like doing that? Should we do that as like a club at lunch? Because I see you both making them. Oh, you're making them in art class? I used to make my Boy Scout camp. Like, I used to teach that. I have a handicraft merit bag. I know how to sew and make leather work and all sorts of stuff. But then you get better at it. All right, we already spoke. That's a blank card. Antonella, what happened here? Asked you too fast? Aiden, what happened here?
Okay, so there's 2 positives that are outside of the parentheses. Add those, you get 5. 5 times 6.2.
Ooh, is that following the order of operations, though? And remember what we were just doing. If I look just at this part, let's ignore this part for a moment. I'm actually going to do this. Let's ignore that part for a second. What happened here? I'm going to jump past you because I think maybe we're just misunderstanding the question. Isabella, can you tell me what happened there? All right. This is my fault then. This is on me. What happened here is 3, please write this down with me, moves of 6.2. Our number in front, and guys, I'm training you for future math, like high school math. The number in front tells us how many. The number in parentheses is of what? Like 3 bananas, 3 pizzas. This is 3 moves, because we're talking about Cecil the tightrope walker, of 6.2. How do we say addition? And Addition is always and a move of 2, right? And a move of 2, because he just does it once. A move of 2. And actually, I'm really happy Aiden said what he said. We have to multiply first. Our order of operations, which I think I have a lot of places, but I'll put here as another reminder now that we're moving on past fractions. There's really only 4 pieces to it. I know we think there's 6, but multiply and divide are the same thing happening at the same time. Here's what's tricky, guys. Parentheses is your first in the order of operations. That doesn't mean this, because there's nothing to do inside the parentheses. So we look at it and we say, that's just there because multiplication. These parentheses are actually just multiplication. So try this again. What about writing out this in the form that we've been talking about? Do quantity, and then in parentheses, what happened? How many and of what? How many and of what? Make sure we're writing this down before we use our calculator. This is 72, but I'm going to scooch it over so I can make it bigger. If we start with how many, Vanessa, how many moves did we do here? Yeah. Go ahead. You want to say it one more time? 5 of -3. Guys, I'm subtly trying to brainwash you. Like, seriously, I'm subtly trying to brainwash you. Of means multiply. Please write it down. 5 of -3. And then we can just write it down as just right against each other. And this is multiplication. I helped a couple people yesterday who said, what's with this number against the parenthesis? A number right against parentheses. It's literally telling you how many of that number. So it is multiplication. Guys, I see some pencils not moving. It's easy to tell when you don't write what I asked you to write, because I hadn't written it on the board yet. 5 of -3 of tells us multiply. And tells us add. Right? And tells us add. Of says multiply. Questions? If we look at what we have here, this could be called this. 2 sets of 3. So as we start to look at what numbers look like and say what they look like, this is 2 sets of 3, right? Because each set is 3. So 2 of 3, 2 times 3, what's that? 6. Draw on your paper this, and I'll write it bigger. What would this look like? Remember, the quantity is first, and then of what is second. So we're going to be drawing either pluses or minuses or maybe both. Actually, we might as well ask, what are we going to be drawing here, pluses or minuses? Minuses, right? The negatives. So if I write it out with words, it'd be 5 sets of -3. So I'm going to draw 3 negatives. How many times? 5. And I like making my negatives red. There's one set of -3. There's another set of -3. Kind of fun. This is where it's okay that I'm not artistic, because this doesn't need to look very pretty. What do I have in total? What is 5 times -3? -15. So guys, we're just practicing how we think about these things, right? What is multiplication? What's on? I have multiple of something. Problem? This was question 73. Questions on what we're representing, what we're doing. I got a very important thing to talk about then. I don't maybe need to jump there quite yet. Whoa, why are you impatient? I got 12 minutes. So instead of a move of 6, Cecil's starting to get old, right? So aren't we all? So Cecil's like, maybe I should start breaking up my big moves into smaller moves. So he realizes I could break my move of 6 into like 2 moves of 3, right? Would this work? Are these equal? 2 moves of 3 equals, right? What he's saying here is 2 of 3 equals 6. And we know that's true. You don't have to write this down, just like we're just figuring out what's true, right? So Cecil says, my move of 8 is probably really too big. So Cecil decides, can I take my move of 8, and I should write this in not red since it's positive. Could he take his move of 8 and break that move up into a move of 3, and then what other single move would he need to get 8? Yeah, 5, right? Go ahead and write this down. Put a little question mark above the equals. Talk with your team. Is this cool? Is this allowed? Would he still do the same act if he goes 5 and 3 and 5 and 3? Or 3 and 5 and 3 and 5, I guess, since I put the 3 first. So wait. You're loud and clear. You say because parenthesis. What do you mean?
Because in the order of operations, parentheses come first. Whatever's in the parentheses, you have to do first. In this case, 3 plus 5, which is equal to 8. So 8 times 2 is
Ooh. So you're saying this really turns into what we wrote initially. So of course it's the same thing. I got a different question then. If I don't add first, would I still get the same thing? Yes. And the head shaking that I just saw is why we gotta talk about this. This is called the distributive. You should write this down. And I agree with everything you said. The order of operations says you should add those numbers first because then all you have to do is multiply. But sometimes life is easier, not easy, but easier, if we leave the numbers broken. So let's test, do we get the same thing? What is 2 times 8? 16. The question is, do I still get 16 if I don't add these first? Well, this is saying I did 2 moves of 3 and 2 moves of 5. What would 2 moves of 3 be? 6. So let's write down 2 times 3. And then what would 2 moves of 5 be? 10. Sorry, I'm going to actually write down the 2 times 5, and then I'll write down 10. So this is 6 and 10. Oh, what's that get me?
16, that's still right.
That's still right. The distributive property is how we make math easier. Not saying math is easy, because it sure ain't. I was fighting with some math last night, trying to get door casings up in my house, trying to nail, I had like angles coming together, and the wall's not straight. Why are walls not straight? Right? Wouldn't you expect walls to be straight?
I was helping my dad with setting up a door the other day, and he's like, this door, move this up an inch.
Right?
Like, this door will move. If you just like let it be straight, it's just like the door's stuck.
Yeah. True is another word we use, and I like using true almost better, especially now that like everyone is always very like hyper aware of what you're saying, like different words. And true is when things come together correctly. So when we talk about true mathematically, like, is this true? That's like when you're doing measurements, things being true means they're correct. So the distributive property lets us take really hard problems and make it easier. Now here's the issue. This, I'm going to write it out up here. Don't write this, actually. I'll give you a break for a second. Don't write this. This is not equal to this. Can anyone tell me why? These are not equal. They look very similar. They use the same numbers in the same order. Aiden?
Well, because, if one of the parentheses and everyone knows if they're like multi next to each other, time those, so they won't get the right answer, I think.
Here, this is multiplying, right? Is the negative 4 getting multiplied? No. Over here, we have to distribute. Guys, this is the trap door. Give me your eyes. I got some eyes not on me. This is the trap door. I'm telling you right now, when we take a mini mastery tomorrow, I'm like, guys, I need you to, again, here, progressings are fine. Progressings say that we're growing, we're learning. So, like, if we do this wrong, if we fall in the trap door, it's okay. I've got rope. I'll throw it down. We'll pull you out. It's okay. But this needs to multiply to both numbers. The trap door for middle schoolers that I have noticed is people do this. They do 3 times negative 2.5. But then you get excited that you got that multiplication, and you forget to multiply, and you just add the negative 4 because it's here with an addition in front of it, and you forget to multiply it. It's not the same answer. And that's when you'll come and be like, no, but I did the multiplication. And I'll draw the second arrow. And then you'll be like, ah. So we're going to practice drawing arrows and breaking up the multiplication. So 76 for those of you playing along. And then the next problem is on your homework paper. So this one is still on graph paper. Cecil traveled 105 feet 7 times. But it was to the left. Is left positive or negative for us? Negative. So let's go ahead and write down 7 times negative 105. But I want your team to break that up and make it easier. How can we do that multiplication more easily? Break things up to make things easier. And then we're going to distribute and draw arrows. How can we break 7? Or how can we break 105? Marina, can you give me a suggestion of how to break 105 up? Yeah, 5 and 100. So we've got the negative, remember that they're negative, right? A negative 100 and a negative 5. Guys, the arrows can go on top or bottom, but you gotta draw arrows. I'm telling you, this is a pet peeve of mine. I'll give you a progressing if you don't draw arrows. Because I can almost guarantee, like I would almost bet you'll get it wrong if you don't draw the arrows. So what is 7 times 100, and we know it's going to be negative? Well, that's not that hard. What's 7 times 100? 700, and just make it negative, right? 700, because he went left. What is, I'm only changing colors to make us pay attention, so actually I should probably use, I don't know. What is 7 times 5? 35, and it's negative. Guys, give me your eyes real quick. I'm trying to get bright. This comes down and says, oh yeah, we're adding these things together. We had a negative 700 and as always add, and a negative 35. So now, this ain't that bad. What do we get? Yeah, negative 735. Pull out your homework paper. Crap, actually, I think I'm out of time. But for what it's worth, we'll do these together tomorrow then. So if you want to try them on your own to check your abilities, we'll go over your homework paper thing tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Mrs. Goldring's back. Be nice to her. Put your notes away where they go. Either in current work, probably in current work, really, because it's our current chapter. I'd put them in current work and use it tomorrow. You know what somebody said this morning? That just made me feel so nice. They're like, I feel so much better because my math papers are organized. And I know some of you guys just had like a pile. Oh man, I had papers to pass back. If you turned in papers, stick around. Franco, Layla, both Laylas. Hold on just a second. I actually need to ask her a question. Kylie, nope, she left. Oh, hey. I got another one for you. You come work with me, we can knock that out really fast. John Lucas. John. Lucia. Katie. Oh, already gone. Vanessa. Already gone. Alright. That's everybody. Everything that I had. What's up? Oh, I don't have to check it right now. I'm going to check in like a couple weeks. So you got to keep it organized for like a good week or two, and then I'm going to check them. I thought I was going to check them yesterday, but I decided that didn't make sense. It's kind of silly to say, okay, do all these things and then check it. I should give you like a week or two to keep those things done, right? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You too.